he will be coming in over to line up down the runway and allowing George Bulmer to fly off in the Storch. And you saw, as the development of the Osters progressed, how much the Mark I differed from the Mark IX. Half the weight, half the power. A continual escalation of development, and some would argue that the Mark IX Oster, the last of them, was actually developed beyond the original capabilities which the Army wanted, which was for a light, simple, rugged aeroplane. Well, the same might be said of the Storch, as Roger perhaps describes it in a minute. It's certainly a very heavy, complex aeroplane, and although it was extremely successful, it did also have its limitations. Anyway, without further ado, that concludes the military Oster flights demonstration. Thank you for your attention. And as Carl runs in to join from the left, I'll hand you back to Roger Hoffling.
Thank you very much indeed, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen White, and of course his teammates with the military Oster flight. Stephen was reflecting on the fact that the rules don't perhaps allow us to make use of the geography as well as they might. I dare to recall that an Oster AOP-9 remains the only aircraft I've ever seen flown around a race course going over the jumps. That was at Larkhill some years back, I recall. Well now, while Stephen talked too of this German design, the Storch rolls beneath. FI 156 and Oster Mark I. There's a glimpse of rather more like the Storch's maximum, 109 miles an hour. Egg Thomas, the only airworthy German aircraft from World War I to be seen in Europe, but its designed role was that of reconnaissance and artillery observation. LVG. Well abreast to the mobile armoured divisions, the slow flying abilities making it invaluable for reconnaissance and a message dropping. Well there, a very short landing run indeed in virtually nil wind. Of course, perhaps the best remembered of all the Storch operations was Operation Oak, the rescue of Mussolini from imprisonment in an hotel 6,500 feet up the Grand Sasso in September 1943. With the restricted view from the cockpits, and so it was a deficiency that this design, the C6, was designed to remedy, entering service in 1918. A Benz BZ4 six-cylinder water-cooled engine was its power plant. here at Old Warden. Indeed, from March 1918, the American service took some 297 examples of this aircraft. In fact, it saw service just before the armistice with the American services, the American Army Air Force, used in the main by their squadrons in France, armed with two Vickers 303-inch machine guns. While this is one variant of the power plant, the true production versions were equipped with the Larone 9N rotary engine of 170 horsepower. So you can imagine that the torque on that engine must have been really something to behold, and indeed all the more to grapple with. A famous hallmark of the Niueport series disappeared with this version. The interplane struts are no longer the famous V-shape, but are truly parallel this time. And indeed, it became a true biplane rather than the earlier sesquiplane, although you'll notice that thin wing is uncambered. That and a monocoque construction making it an unusual aircraft all round.